Okay. You know what it is. This is the Remix Morning Show right here on Black Power Media. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Let me introduce you to your host today. We got no other than Kalanji Jama Chunk, and Kamal K. Franklin. Wait.
No.
And no other than Burn It Down Kim Brat.
I'm in the wrong camera.
And you're in the wrong camera? You haven't fixed that since the weekend?
Since the weekend?
Remember last week you had the whole... that looks okay. I like
no,
that.
It doesn't. It looks crazy.
Raise it higher. Do it higher again.
I know, but what am I supposed to do? Hold my laptop like this?
Oh, you holding it. Oh, my bad. You got to get some books. No, now your eyes are cut off. That's not
okay.
That's a little bit too.
I told Ear Doctor I was not ready, and yet here we are.
Eyes higher.
I didn't bring you in.
There you go. That's good.
Welcome to the Remix Morning Show.
I don't like y'all, man.
There is no third wall, the fourth wall with us. This is like everything just happens.
Well, let me exclude Kalanji from I don't like y'all. I don't like Ear Doctor, and I do not like Kamal.
Appreciate that.
Kalanji is good in the hood.
One day out the year when Kalanji is like, must be leap year. Yeah. It's happening.
Oh, shit.
Chilling.
Man. Welcome to the Remix Morning Show, good people.
Man,
where you can get all your technical difficulties live and direct and love it.
Live and direct.
Right here.
Yes.
A lot of camera shifting. Yeah.
Hey, it was a beautiful weekend. Big up to we had a bunch of shows on BPM. Hope y'all checked it out. Big up to everybody that tuned into the Doctor's Office Sundays for the Malcolm X Live. It was a dope festival. Everybody that came around, it was like, yo, BPM is dope. It's dope. They love the show. Big up to everybody out there. It was a beautiful weekend, man.
That's what's up.
No doubt. Shout out to all the remixers out there in the chat who's supporting us worldwide. And I see that some of y'all been copying some of that new merch. You know what I'm saying? A whole lot of, if you haven't been back to the site over the past week, we got a whole lot of new colors. Matter of fact, we got the new remix mugs as well. Shout out to Sister May out there on the joints. Got all kinds of fly colors going on. I might have to support BPM.
Colors.
Okay. Shout out to, I was gonna say shout out to Ice-T, but
no,
the only role he plays is cops and drug dealers and snitches. So of course we can't shout him out. But anyway,
what's that?
Who's that? Who's that right there?
In your face, technology. You're not gonna beat me this morning. No one beat it. No.
Okay. Kim got a mic right. A mic sounds right.
Check one.
Okay. Let's see how long that lasts. But we here though. For the time being.
Let's go.
All right, I'll let y'all get to it. I'll catch you on the break. Peace.
Yes. Beautiful day to be an African. You know what I'm saying? It's a
every
wonderful
day, my
thing.
guy. Every day,
yes.
sir.
Oh, yes. Wonderful time. We living, we giving, we striving. Yes. Sound like I heard an echo. Was that me? Or?
That was me. I'm still fuddling about over here. Just never mind.
Me too. I just did the same thing. I was like, wait a minute. Somehow my camera dipped. Let me fix that. Let me fix that.
As you were.
That's why we need you all support. We can have cameras and computers and all that good stuff to make sure we on point. You know what I mean? We still dope. Right. You know, still
if y'all give it up, we can have a live camera person in everybody's houses filming.
I don't know about all that.
Camera hooked up to a computer. No, not a good use of funds. We can have a $6 million mansion where we do all the shows from.
Wow.
Oh,
no,
man.
Too much.
$6 million
Too soon.
I'll settle for a $60,000 office space. How about that?
Hey.
You know what I'm saying?
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
We make it easy.
Space to work. Let's go.
We make it easy. You know what I'm saying? We ain't trying to be too hard. I wanted to point out too, man, because I wasn't gonna say nothing on my Twitter, but y'all, man, Roland Martin still trolling me, man. I mean, somebody tell that dude take his big bagel head somewhere and go play with somebody that need to be played with, because I ain't the one.
Hold on.
I'm the dude. Yes, I'm the dude. When I see you, you gotta explain to me where you know me from. So I stay off my Twitter, man.
Oh, what
Only
you
know
got, Kalonji? Fill us
follow
in.
me.
Fill us
I
in.
mean,
What?
it's simple things, just like trying to tell me who worked for CNN and all that. Like, Negro, I know what's what. Mind your business, man. Stay off my page, man. How you know me?
Now,
You
was
got
this in
lies to tell
connection?
someone?
Was this in
Huh?
connection to your abruptly canceled CNN appearance? Was this
Yeah.
related? Okay.
And then I got all kinds of people on there with a couple clowns of his, like, you're lucky to be on Twitter. You don't deserve CNN. Like, shut up. I've been on
Deserve
CNN.
CNN.
man,
None of us deserve CNN.
No,
Okay.
Negro, I'm BPM all day. Recognize. You know what I'm saying? We come with our own shit. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to say, man, bagel head, stay out my life, man. You know what I mean?
Out your life, yo.
Get your ass caught out of here, man. What's wrong with you?
True.
Tight ass caught.
Here come Brooklyn, right? Co-signing and shit.
No doubt. Anyway, man, how y'all feeling, man? What's good with y'all, man? Y'all out there making the world better or what?
Trying one day at a time.
Depends on the hour. Yeah, depends on the hour. Yeah.
Okay. Depending on the hour, huh?
Sometimes it's like fuck the world. Sometimes
Okay.
it's like, let's make the world a better place. And then it's like fuck the world. Yeah,
Hey,
I
man.
can relate to that. Is that Gemini energy there, Kamal?
I don't know. I don't
What is
know.
your-
I don't know if I can
what is
trace
that?
it to the zodiac. Maybe it's just some dysfunctional personality trait of like, oh, I like people. Oh, stay the hell away from me. Oh, I got to go do this. Leave me the fuck alone.
And wait, just for clarity, and don't you have a birthday upcoming?
And yes, in like in about 24 days,
Okay.
I'll be hitting 50. How old am I going to be? What's it?
9.
55.
No.
You 55?
85, B. I'll
Too
be
fine
55.
to be 55. Too fine to be 55.
I don't know about all that shit.
Yeah, it holds up well.
My nigga.
Look at all that. Holds up well. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That
okay.
skin black.
Yeah.
Come
You know
through.
what I'm saying? Look at all that. Look at all that. Look at
I'm
that.
proud of
Holds up
Kamal.
well, you know what I'm saying?
I'm proud of you, man.
It's broke something, I think, by doing that, but I'm cool.
Man, don't look a day under 70. I'm proud of you.
Stop, Kalonji.
I didn't mention to you that Roland Martin's going to be our next guest. My bad.
It's all good. I wouldn't be surprised because sometimes I turn BP on myself. And I'm like, how the hell this cat right here get on there?
I feel the same way. The
I'm
same way.
like,
Me too. I
That's all
heard
good.
BPM and felt the same way. Yes.
Exactly. We all had those feelings like, who invited
Yeah.
that motherfucker up in here?
Yeah, I'm like, I feel like
How they get
sometimes
on the show?
yeah, black
I thought we was
powerless
about
media
black
sometimes.
power.
Yo.
I be confused myself. Folks calling me like, yo, why y'all got such and such? I'm like, man, get your pronouns right. You know, y'all over here, homie. Let's keep this thing popping proper. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, shout out to
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead,
Afraid
try it,
Not.
yeah.
That's Dawn.
Oh, Afraid Not. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Donnie.
So good. Shout out to Afraid Not. We appreciate your contributions to this jam.
Thank you, Donnie.
Shirley said Kamal makes 55 look good. That's the only compliment you're getting from me.
Shirley.
We also gonna be doing a fundraiser for glasses for Shirley. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make sure that our remix is on point. We're gonna make sure y'all
clearly
tight up in the joint.
2020. Clearly 2020.
Yeah.
2010.
Yeah.
She see better than average. Come through,
Yeah,
Shirley.
that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. So we love you, girl. We love you.
God bless Shirley.
God damn, do y'all see the dimensions of this fucking face that I'm giving y'all right now? My God, I'm sorry. I
What's wrong
just
with
have to
your
slow
face?
down. I said, how did a full moon get in my whole square? What is going on? It's a big
It's
face.
all good.
Damn it. Come on. Y'all not ready. Shout out to all the big forehead girls, all my Sades out there. Stand up.
Okay. Nothing wrong with the forehead.
You got a good
What
forehead. I can draw a picture on that, but I love it. I love it.
Whoa.
Is that what you do? Come out? Do you go around drawing pictures of
Oh,
I don't know what's going on.
little
I don't even know why I'm
education.
here.
Okay.
Yes. Anyway, y'all drawing forehead pictures and all that. Anyway, it's going to be a real great, real dynamite show today. And we have a whole lot coming up this week. Of course, we're here.
Oh, my bad. What's coming up this week?
Man, plenty of content. Plenty of content. And
You don't have
tomorrow-
anything, do you? Oh, you do have some. Okay.
course.
I thought
And
you were
tomorrow-
stalling at the time when you did that. Plenty of content.
Well, I was stalling, but
Okay,
you know what I'm
okay,
saying? You giving away trade secrets, man. Chill. But anyway, tomorrow is ALD, African Liberation Day. So we're
That's
definitely going to be pushing that because that is a very important time for us as Africans. You know what I mean? So we definitely will be having something good for you on that. We might throw a riot start on it. I'm not sure. You know, we have a real busy week, a lot of things going on that level. But you know, we're happy to be here. We're happy to be here.
Hey,
Who we got popping up?
Isn't there a primary in y'all's state today? I guess it's Republican, so y'all definitely don't
It
give a fuck.
is.
But I mean,
It is. As a matter of
I
fact,
mean, I look at it for it's humorous considering Herschel Walker will be officially the Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate.
I was invited to a Herschel Walker event. Shout out,
Whoa.
yes,
Whoa.
yes, by your homeboy Shelly Winters.
oh,
Whoa.
He hosted them a
And
couple
you're
weeks
supporting
ago.
him too. I mean, he's
Hey
got.
man,
I
you know,
always think he's got a little bit more sense than. I mean, you can't sit down with Herschel Walker for more than 30 seconds and not walk out to him and be like, "Oh, this dude's an idiot."
yo,
I don't know if it
Shelly-
happened after football. I don't know if it happened before football. I don't, something.
he's
happened.
one of the reasons why football should be banned in America, because
Hey.
clearly that concussion.
He's
is
definitely,
real.
he's definitely one of those.
thank you, Lucy, for your super chat, baby. We appreciate
you.
you. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you,
No
Lucy.
doubt.
Is this some early
Yeah.
birthday money for me? You know what I'm saying? Because it's my
Okay,
birthday.
okay.
It definitely, but she definitely mentioned me though, Kamau.
Oh.
So I don't
Okay,
see how. I don't see how. I don't see
You don't
how
see the
that's your
connection?
5.
You don't see the connection? You don't see the connection?
Okay. Light Skinner's in the building tonight.
Shut up. Shut your
hey,
face.
hey.
Shut your face. Hey,
don't
let
worry,
me ask you guys a
summertime.
question. In 1988, was this on your prediction that Herschel Walker would be out here, the biggest coon on the planet, stomping for Donald Trump and as the Republican senatorial and potential nominee for the state of Georgia? Could anyone have foreseen this?
Well, in the
No.
mortal words of the RZA, I judge wisely, so nothing never surprised me. I mean, you know, the thing is, we have to always keep in mind what a person's role is. You know what I'm saying? And his job was just to get a ball and run. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what he did, and he did well, and he's still running. But now he's running for office. You know what I'm saying?
I
So-
thought potentially Herschel would be considered one of the greatest running backs of all time, just because of he was strong, agile, fast. He could move with the best of them. So that I knew he had that white wife early on. That's one of the things. Yeah, even back then you kind of like, oh, okay. But it was sort of like, but other than that, I didn't expect anything out of him that was other than football, to be honest. You know what I mean?
No, not even so much that you had any political expectations. It's just that 30 odd or so years ago, somebody told you that Herschel Walker, you know what I'm saying? Not to say he was ever any radical or displayed any sort of, political acumen during his playing career. It's just, I mean, I guess it's the similar way in the 80s and 90s. Could you have seen Donald Trump being elected president at the time?
Yeah, you could have picked out any football play. Like you could have Barry Sanders. Like, I mean, it's almost like anybody you could have picked out. And I would have been like, what? Who? What? Yeah, there's none of them who I thought, you know what I mean? Had even Colin Kaepernick, you know what I mean? Before he did the whole I knew nothing about that dude in terms of like, oh, that's cool, he did that. Yeah, although he seems to be like taking not a weird turn, but he's definitely doing a sort of activist kind of general liberal projects these days or whatever. I thought he was going to do just because he was reading like anti-capitalist stuff and putting that stuff out there. I expected him to be more like an Ali figure in some ways. But
what do you mean, Kaepernick or?
Yeah.
Kaepernick. No, definitely not Herschel. No, Kaepernick. I expected Kaepernick to be a little more radicalized, at least than what he's doing publicly. And maybe he does behind the scenes, and I just don't get to see it. You know what I mean? Like outside looking in. But yeah.
I think he has a book coming out though with Mahmoud Abdul Rauf.
Really? I didn't know that.
Player. Yes.
So even wrong, I stand corrected. Even now I stand corrected. That sounds good. Yeah.
I mean, no, it's so good. Matter of fact, we're gonna see about getting Mahmoud on the platform. What y'all think about that? Would that be a good move or what?
Okay. Doug, I remember that. I mean, I remember how big of a deal it was and how the crackers was coming at Mahmoud Abdul Rauf for literally praying in this fucking fascist, corrupt, hypocritical ass country. It's like you wasn't praying to the right God, black man. So we are going to make your life very difficult. I mean,
that's right. You have to be a slave in America. So that's going to be my goal for next guest on Remix on our Renegade Coaches. So that's Riot Starter TV. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place with these R's, but that's going to be my goal for next guest because I think that he's someone that is underrated, underestimated, and almost forgotten about. And I think partially because of his stance as a Muslim opposed to just kneeling. So
definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. So next go. But anyway, we got the Ear Doctor coming up. Party people.
Speaking of people we're trying to forget about.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, you remember Jesse the Body Ventura? He was also somebody that ran in politics. The wrestler.
Yes.
He was governor of Minnesota.
Governor,
yeah. Crazy.
Ronald Reagan was also an entertainer.
That's right.
And was governor.
Donald Trump.
People in the chat are talking about who the greatest running back is. Can you do at one point? Do you follow football like that? Can you give your top 5 greatest?
I did a running back one already.
You did a top 5 running back?
Yeah, I did running back.
Who was number 1? Was it Jim Brown?
I believe it was in my estimation.
I don't care no more because it wasn't Jim Brown. So
I think I had Walter Payton, but
you know what? For the first time ever, I got to agree with the Ear Doctor.
Walter's number 2.
I got to agree with you.
After who?
You're both wrong, but that's okay.
After who?
After me.
Jim Brown. Jim Brown was running against a bunch of white boys.
Jim Brown destroyed everybody and anybody that came his way. B.
Hey, if I was running against a bunch of white boys, I'd be looking good too. I'm just saying. But anyway,
shout out to OJ Simpson.
Oh shit!
Let's go ahead and get a quick break, real quick, and that's what it is. I ain't messing with y'all, man.
Oh, Remix Morning Show. It's the Ear Doctor.
All right. Welcome out, everybody. Yes, it is another Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And while you are here, please make sure y'all hit that like button. If you haven't already, subscribe. Notification bell so you can know all the dope stuff that's coming right here on Black Power Media. And go to patreon.com and drop some change in the bucket so we can get Kim's camera right and get Shirley some glasses and all the different things we need over here. So I want to go ahead and give you all the weather report. It's been a beautiful weekend, like I said. Got to enjoy it. It's nice and hot. It's like 85, 86. But let's take you to a whole nother place. Let's take you to Beham. That's right, Birmingham, Alabama. Today they got a high of 81 degrees. Next, let's take it up north. Let's go to Boston, where they say Ka. Boston, Massachusetts. They got a high today of only 61 degrees. Next, let's take it to Norfolk, Virginia. Norfolk, that's right. I believe that's where my boy Bubba Chuck is from. Allen Iverson, Norfolk, Virginia. They got a high today of 66 degrees. And now let's take it to the Midwest. We hardly ever go there. Let's go to Casper, Wyoming. Casper, Wyoming. I don't even know if I want to go to a place where you see white ghosts. But high today is 59 degrees. Next, let's take it to Barbados. Big up to Barbados. Big up to Riri. Big up to my kids' mom, who was from Barbados. I got half Bayesian kids. That's right. From Bridgetown, Barbados, they got a high today of 83 degrees. Next, let's take it to Sahar, Chad. That's right. They got a high today of 92 degrees. It's mad hot. After that, we're going to take it to, what is that? Pori, Finland. Pori, Finland. My sister's name is Worry, so I said, hey, I'll pick Pori. Pori, Finland, they got a high today of 37 degrees, and that is cold. When I say cold, I'm talking about that's about colder than the white man. But let me tell you what else is cold. That's right. Juneteenth ice cream at Walmart. Guess what? You can't get it now because Black Twitter got on Walmart's ass. Boy, they said, what are y'all doing with this Juneteenth Pride Africa? Oh, my goodness. You talking about capitalists capitalizing? There you go. Right there. Walmart said we going to get this money. And then Black Twitter banged them down. So they taking it off the shelves. Boy, I tell you, that's cold. Colder than the white man. Now, let's go back to the Remix Morning Show with our hosts. All right.
That's a nice little interlude there, Doctor. I dig that. That's nice.
Yes.
You got to come back to that ice cream thing, yo. That's too hilarious. I think that's on the run sheet for a story. We got to talk about that more.
I mean, definitely.
If you look in the run sheet come out, you'll see that is a story.
I just said that. That's what I said. I literally muttered that out so low that you couldn't hear me, but I literally just said that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Remix Morning Show, where the hosts don't listen to each other. You know what I'm saying? We'll be giving away pints of Walmart ice cream at the next Juneteenth. You know what I mean? And I'm sure it has all the poison you need in it. You know what I'm saying? To kill black folks. So anyway, thank you, Doctor, for that stone cold weather report. You know what I mean? And
have all of us lactose intolerant asses blasting off the toilet. Right? Eat some of that Walmart ice cream if you want to.
The name of the ice cream is called Juneteenth. Ain't that some shit? You know what I'm saying?
Word. I catch you on next break. Peace.
Yes.
Thank you, Ear Doctor. Yo, I could have done without the federal Juneteenth holiday. Totally could have done without it. But I could have went to my grave very happy if Juneteenth never became a federal holiday, because it is not correct for white people to get the fucking day off, a paid day off for Juneteenth. Miss me with your progress, liberals. Miss me. Miss me.
All of that. I think with the whole COVID thing, all the black shit, all the black holidays, all the black celebrations were heightened because folks didn't have anything really to do. So of course Juneteenth came into effect. Folks wanted to Black History Month, and of course there was an attempted hijacking of Black August, but we ain't having that. So anyway, we gonna take it to slapping the mat. And we'll be right back. Stay black. Welcome back to the Remix Morning Show, where everything's all good in the hood, even if it ain't no good. Kim started off talking about the Georgia primaries with the racist crackers that's running for the Republican Party. Of course, you have what's that clown name?
David Perdue and Brian Kemp, the incumbent governor.
So last election, of course, Kemp was talking about he had his little commercials talking about rounding up the what do you call
the immigrants? The immigrants?
He stated yes. And he had a bus. I mean, the bus was literally going around Georgia like it was a tour. He had a shotgun and whatnot. Said he was going to start rolling around, snatching them up. Him and his little goofy looking son. You know what I'm saying? But and then this time around, Perdue, who is backed by your homie Trump, he said that Stacey Abrams would win this election over his dead body. Now, you know, this is Georgia, so you know, oftentimes folks think of Atlanta and they think they win the Black Mecca, and they forget that Atlanta's in Georgia.
We do not forget.
I mean, you know, some people talk like, you know, like it's, you know, it's all love and it's all black. But anyway, I want to share
Columbus. No, Georgia. The rest of Atlanta, the rest of Georgia is not like Atlanta.
I mean, Atlanta's not like Atlanta.
Atlanta's not like Atlanta.
Don't get it twisted, you know. But
yes,
last night, y'all homie Perdue, no relation to Frank, he decided to close out the primary with a racist attack on Stacey Abrams. So what he did, so he decided, he said that you know, basically made a few comments and statements. He said that that basically Stacey should go back to where she came from if she don't like, you know, like living here in the state of Georgia. She said that because she said that Georgia was the worst place in the country to live, and he said she ain't from here, and let her go back to where she came from if she doesn't like it here. He said she is demeaning her own race when it comes to that. And he said, I'm really over this. Purdue said he pivoted to responding to her comments that she made in 2018. Of course, she didn't mention race. She was born in Wisconsin and lived in Mississippi before attending high school and college here in Georgia. But what she was talking about the infant mortality rate, or the maternal mortality rate, being number one in the country. And she was also talking about other issues. And his thing was like, look, we don't know why you complaining. But one of the things that he also stated, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my computer in order. I'm going through some things right now. Forgive me. He talked about how she boom. I'm making a mistake right here. I'm jamming up. I'm sorry. I'm tripping over my own words. But anyway, he made a couple references to her speaking about black farmers. And he said that she said that you don't need to be on the farm, and that black workers don't need to be in hospitality. But she never mentioned race. That's something he said. He's saying that basically, they do need to be there.
The mere fact that he out loud in public these days, again, had the nerve to say that she's demeaning her own race.
Right.
Stop there. You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing. Two, like, just for folks that have the background. So obviously Kemp, right winger, won office in Georgia. Some say that the election 4 years ago should have been disputed. That there was some stuff with the tallies and who's allowed to vote and so forth. So there's a little cloud around the last election. Stacey Abrams came extremely close to winning the governorship. And then since then, in statewide elections, you've had two Democrats, one being Raphael Warnock, who've won federal Senate seats, which are statewide elections. And so that's an amazing, just in terms of, like, whatever we think about the confines of the two-party system, that's an amazing turnaround in a state like Georgia. And so I think the Republicans are particularly fearful, of course, that they're going to lose this statewide seat. Two, kept when Trump ran for office and, of course, lost, he wanted different states to throw out the votes, claiming that the system was rigged, that the voting machines were rigged, that everybody was rigged, that black folks were allowed to vote too much. I don't think he said those words, but basically that was the ideas behind what he was saying. And he wanted Kemp to throw out the election results because they couldn't find anything, obviously, to say that there was some fraud with the election. Kemp could not do that, nor could the Secretary of State do that. And so they immediately got on Trump's hit list. And hence Trump, an incumbent Republican, Trump decided to support a third-party candidate to try to punish Kemp and damage him. And so that's sort of the background. And so Purdue has come out as trying to be more racist than a regular racist by out racisting Kemp or whatever, in terms of talking about black folks, immigrants, and the rest of it, and showing how pro-Trump he is. And so we have an interesting setup here where these folks are going as right-wing as possible to try to get white folks in Georgia to vote for them as sort of the savior of white people here.
And to add on to that, Purdue is, for the record, of course, you mentioned he's backed by Trump, and basically Trump and Pence are going at it because of the fact that Pence is backing Kemp. So along with that nonsense, of course, Purdue lost to Warnock. He lost to Ossoff last year. And who was that? His other racist little white girl. What's her name? That owned the Atlanta team, the Atlanta women's team.
What's her name? Loeffler,
Kelly Loeffler. So she lost to Warnock last year. So Trump is backing your man Herschel against this other black dude, Warnock. You know what I'm saying? You see how this whole thing go? They're like, okay, well, we're gonna get a new Negro up in there. We're gonna get dumbass Herschel. And Herschel gonna run and he gonna win, so on and so forth. But of course, we know Herschel doesn't stand a chance. The one thing that I know that that Warnock was doing, he was active at one point in the community. I know that when we were working on behalf of Troy Davis, we did a lot of work together in his church in and around Atlanta. He hosted a number of different folks, everyone from Dick Gregory to a few other folks who I'd rather not mention on camera, but he was actually very active in the whole Troy Davis campaign. And I think that's one of the things that helped to push him over. Of course, he was the pastor at Ebenezer Baptist Church, King's Church as well. But, you know, it's really crazy out here right now because, you know, we're looking at these choice of races. Right now, Kemp is killing it. I think he's like kind of smothering Pence.
Yeah, I'm sure Kemp is going to take that. It looks like Kemp is going to take that nomination. Yeah.
And Trump.
I'll just say one interesting thing about Warnock too is that when I worked at the state senate, he came, and this is when he was the pastor at Ebenezer, gave a speech on Jesus as a Palestinian Jesus, that kind of thing, which was, you know, in Georgia at the state capitol. It's kind of like, you know, to say those words. And he did take an arrest when we were having demonstrations. We were bringing like a Moral Monday organizing strategy here. Right. And he was one of the people who took an arrest at the state capitol. So he does have some politics. He's definitely shifted, it looks like, from from what we've seen in terms of pulling back, being pro-Israel, and other things, as Democrats are like to do once they want to get into office. So he's going right back to the liberal plantation, let's say, and throwing out some of those overt progressive things that he was doing. So, you know, it is what it is, but he does have a history, and he knows he knows some politics, right? So, you know, when these folks do that, it's like they're doing it purposefully. It's the same thing with Adams is, you know, when they pull back and go moderate, that they think they're being strategic because they know the politics. They know a lot of the politics, and they choose to not represent them at particular times. So, yeah.
I forgot about that Capitol thing, and I forgot that I did see you there. That was at one of the Moral Mondays, if I'm not.
Yeah.
The only thing with that, and shout out to all the folks who were involved in the Moral Mondays. I'm just not the dude to get arrested for the sake of getting arrested. That ain't, you know what I'm saying? I'm cool with all y'all that can do that. You know what I'm saying? You know, when I go, I like to go for a reason, because unfortunately, some of us don't know whenever we get those handcuffs on us if we'll get out of them. You know what I'm saying? But I understand the strategy.
Well, he was a prominent pastor. I mean, it was a strategic.
Of course, not. Yeah, him. Yeah. He's good.
Yeah. I mean,
can I ask y'all some questions? Georgians. Well, so what's on the?
Wait a minute.
It's horrible right there.
I live in Georgia. I'm from Brooklyn now.
Hey, it ain't where you're from, it's where you're at, Georgia.
Africa, baby.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It ain't where you're from, it's where you're at.
Mentally, spiritually. Yes.
All right. So what's on the table should one of these two crackers be victorious? One of these two crackers will be victorious. And if they are further victorious against Stacey Abrams during the general election, I mean, what are these crackers promising? Because I know they're making some promises. It sounds like during this primary, they have been battling over who is going to be burning the bigger cross, proverbially, you know. So I already know, I can imagine abortion is definitely on the table. From what y'all described about
abortion will be outlawed in Georgia.
Wow.
If one of these folks wins, I think they will go that extra step and just outlaw it totally. I think there will be further retractions on voting rights, whether or not that means they're going to be cutting back on days that you can early vote, whether or not they're going to have more ID laws. I do think those in terms of those type of things, they're going to put more laws in there restricting any budget cuts for police.
Wow.
It's just going to be a further. They've already, at the state level, Georgia is pretty right wing already, and so there's probably only so much more they can go. There's gun laws here are very open, and you can carry them almost everywhere you want.
Definitely more guns.
Yeah, so yes, I think it's a lot more of that individually in terms of where we're headed for. But I do think Stacey Abrams, and again, it's no panacea by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think that she has a chance to win, just considering what happened with Warnock and Ossoff, and her own. What I will give her credit for in particular is that I think Stacey Abrams had a vision of what could happen in terms of the switch in potential voting strength for electing Democrats again at a statewide level. She went and got literally millions of dollars of resources. She strategically pinpointed those resources, started organizations, and so for whatever her politics are, she has really done a great job of implementing them to get Georgia to a place where the most overt of right-wing politics is at potentially in trouble in terms of even statewide elections. And I think that's been unheard of for a very long time in Georgia. So again, it's not anything radical or revolutionary, but it's definitely a shift that she foresaw and helped institute in terms of what's happening here in Georgia.
I know that 2 new gun manufacturing companies are moving to Georgia. One has already moved to Georgia, and the second may have as well. Of course, you got Cop City on the local level. Of course, the police presence is going to be heavier. I hate to say it, and I hate to think it, but with all the hype and the hoopla behind these white supremacist Republicans, I think that if Stacey does happen to win, it's going to be more problems for Black folks, and I think that that Africans in this particular region definitely need to work on some type of training and some type of security and safety apparatus, because I mean, with all these mass shootings and shit like that, man, there are some crazy crackers down here. I must tell you, driving down the highway, it's nothing to see big ass rebel flags the size of your living room on the back of these trucks. It's nothing to see these companies outwardly supporting not just Trump, but the whole, the MAGA clan. And that's one of the things that Trump said in his speech last night. He said Perdue is 100% MAGA. We need to get behind him. You understand what I'm saying? So these Georgians, these white folks here, man, listen, I feel that it's going to be a problem regardless. But I think that if she does get in there, and don't get it twisted, I'm not no fan of electoral politics, and but I fear for her, especially with that statement Perdue made saying that she'll win over his dead body. I mean, that shit right there should be a red flag.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I definitely agree. I think that's exactly those kind of dog whistles. Again, that stuff is already there. So I definitely agree. If she does win, I do think that the crazy right wing gets crazier. The idea that they're losing their quote unquote losing their country. Again, it doesn't even matter what her politics are. It doesn't matter that she's neoliberal, that she's not going to do anything far-reaching. She's not redistributing resources to the Black community or anything of the like. But her mere presence as a dark-skinned Black woman in the governor's seat in Georgia will light their asses on fire for their racism to be shown in different ways and in dangerous ways, even more so than now. So
I see that happening either way, to be honest. Like, there is no scenario, there's no outcome in which these crackers are not further emboldened, right? If they lose, they're further emboldened. If they win, they definitely further emboldened. So, I mean, the crackerism has been activated in America on a level I can't say that has never been seen before. It absolutely has been seen before. I don't know if we've seen it. You know what I mean? I don't know if we, like our generation specifically, I don't know if we've seen it activated like this. So I don't know.
So but let's go to a quick story that is about crackers trying to be, well, let's say not like this folks trying to be supportive and Black folks taking it the wrong way. And going back to what the ear doctor was talking about earlier. So this great store, Walmart, right, is trying to support our Juneteenth holiday by putting out an ice cream, swirled red velvet. So swirled red velvet was the flavor for Juneteenth ice cream. And so they decided at some point that this was a good idea. I think they also put out a Pride ice cream. And then there was a backlash on Twitter that people like to refer to as Black Twitter, but basically just black folks tweeting. Which caused Twitter to back off and
Walmart to back off.
I'm sorry, Walmart to back off. So, on their ice cream, it says, "Share and celebrate African American culture, emancipation, and enduring hope." And then there's a little hand clap of like some black colors, some red, black, and green, some political colors.
Share them profits, Walmart. Don't fuck this ice cream. Share them profits. What's up?
Not just World Red Velvet and cheesecake flavored.
Ew.
Because they've done their research and realized that those are our favorite flavors, and so therefore, they wanted to support us in terms of what this Juneteenth holiday is. So yeah, I just think that's too. It's funny, but also just too on point for how capitalism operates in this area of anything and everything is an opportunity to sell something, to take something over, to reboot it, to rebrand it, and to make it friendly for American consumption. And so why should Juneteenth, like you said earlier, after the federal holiday, which is, I didn't realize people were just asking for that, but after Juneteenth became a federal holiday, these folks have decided to go all the way. And people predicted this when Dr. King had a federal holiday for his birthday. There started to be white sales at some of the different stores, and they didn't really, and didn't connect with them at first.
I didn't connect that either. Until just now. Wait a second, that was a thing on holiday. They would have white sales. I did not put that together until 2 seconds ago. Wow.
But I mean, it's crazy because I did see some black folks online arguing to defend. Black folks ain't never satisfied. Whoop de whoop. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, some fucking Juneteenth ice cream. I mean, I'm not even crazy about Juneteenth, period. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. I don't anything that they accept in my mind, I automatically reject. You know what I mean? Because I mean, the fact that we have to wait for a quote unquote federal holiday to commemorate anything dealing with blackness in this country is absurd. And for us to even accept it, we need to like shut that shit down at every turn. You know what I'm saying? We want to put Harriet on a $20 bill. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? We want to put Malcolm on a stamp. Get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, this is what we expect, man. So it.
So first of all, they was going about this all wrong from a variety of perspectives. Most of us come to know and discover Juneteenth through our elders. So everybody knows that. So how in the hell is the flavor not butter pecan? Like, it has to be the flavor of Granny's, right? It has to be the flavor of ice cream that your grandmother eats, which is butter pecan. Grandma don't eat no red velvet or cheesecake. No, Granny eats butter pecan flavor ice cream, period, point blank. So they messed it up off the top.
Which is still my favorite ice cream. I'm sorry to jump in. I'm just saying.
Of course it is, Pops. We know.
Call him man Pops.
Sorry. I take it back. Come out. I'm sorry. I don't want to smoke. I don't want it from Crown Heights this morning, please.
Call him man Pops. What up, Pops?
I'm sorry. I'm so
just want to let y'all know my wife is in the background just laughing.
Papa Rage.
And she's on the floor. So yeah, thank you.
Your wife sounds like an amazing woman. She needs her own YouTube
She married
channel.
me, so hey.
She needs her own YouTube channel. She needs a book. I want to know all the things that I don't even want to call her Miss Franklin now because I know that she rejects that.
Yeah, she never would take that name.
She's definitely wise.
No.
She's definitely a wise woman for that.
But Juneteenth, y'all, I agree. This is some liberal placating bullshit. This is some shit that Joe Biden and the Obama Democrats got together and patted themselves on the back and congratulated themselves for acknowledging Juneteenth as a federal holiday. The reason I have an affection for Juneteenth is because I didn't discover it until I was a child. Like I told you, I went to Little Rock, Arkansas for many, many summers throughout my childhood. And I'd never even heard of Juneteenth until my grandmother and my family introduced me to it. And it's a big deal. Like, it's a much bigger deal in the South, especially, I guess, during, my childhood, 80s and whatnot. So I have an affection for it because of how I came to be aware of it. And I don't like that it was co-opted by the Democrats and ergo the federal government. And again, I have a real big problem with white people getting the fucking paid day off for Juneteenth. I think that is wrong. I think white people, if you have a job that is paying you on Juneteenth, you need to donate those PTO hours to your black co-workers. There's something that you need to do. White people who stand with us need to reject that Juneteenth day off because that's not for y'all. It's not for y'all, man. Y'all did not deserve this day off. White folks do not deserve a paid day off for Juneteenth. I disagree with that totally.
Okay. There you have it.
I was going to say real quickly, for me, Juneteenth was, I agree, like 5-10 years ago, you would go, it was a resistance holiday in some ways. It was another one of the resistance holidays. Like people would go celebrate in their own way, Blackness, obviously talk about how people were found out about emancipation and so forth. But it was definitely tied to Black folks who were saying that they, that Lincoln did not free us per se or whatever like that. So for them and that's why I was actually surprised a little bit when I think I just wasn't following it, but all of a sudden I was like, what the hell you mean it's a federal holiday? Because so that one they dug deep for. So
who asked for that though?
I think you nailed it. You nailed it when you said Obama Democrats. I'm sure that's who put the proposal to Biden, was like, look, we need, again, another one of these symbolic gestures of let's do this, let's do that, let's get some kente cloth on.
Honestly,
absolutely correct on that.
Honestly, when white people do dumb shit like Walmart, for instance, because we're talking, we're conveniently forgetting the enslavement practices of Walmart. You know what I'm saying? The exploitation. You know what I'm saying? That's the shit that we should be focused on. Honestly, when they come out with their little ice creams and their kente cloths and all that, the number one thing that Black folks can do is not boycott the product, not tell them to shut that down, shut their asses down. You understand what I'm saying? And all the Negroes that's running behind them, because they didn't do that on their own. You could best believe there's some Negroes out there who can give two shits about Juneteenth, who thought they were actually contributing something and bringing something to the table, which pretty much walked their ass under the fire. So we need to really begin to shut those folks down. And I know that, people say, well, what about the workers? Right now with COVID is jobs galore, quote unquote. So if you want a shitty job, you know what I'm saying?
There's one waiting for you at Walmart.
It's more than Walmart.
Support the unionization. I mean, that work that's going on too. I feel like some of this is part of that too, where they're trying to do anything to make it seem like they're community orientated. So, shout out to folks who are doing the unionization work, because that's important for folks who have those jobs to get paid some decent, to force Walmart, which ain't closing down no time soon, to pay people decent wages and salaries and benefits and all the rest of it. So.
Yeah, and reject all these corporate offerings of culture, because at the same time that Walmart is trying to promote a Juneteenth whatever product line, that I'm sure that Juneteenth ice cream is not the only. I'm sure they got Juneteenth T-shirts and Juneteenth all kinds of shit just at the ready. But keep in mind that, and I don't have to tell Black Power Media audiences, y'all know this, but y'all know Walmart donates to the National Fraternal Order of Police. Tell them to get the whole fuck out of here with this Juneteenth shit. You do not support Black communities. Stop. We will not be appeased, nor will we be fooled by these dumbass marketing ploys, because we know where Walmart really stands when it comes to issues pertaining to our people, because they don't pay us and they put money behind those that are occupying our communities. So fuck them.
And we have to become proactive, because I think that, in one instance, we hear folks, like you say, on Twitter, quote unquote, Black Twitter, which I still don't understand. I'm somewhat new to Twitter over the past year. You know what I mean? I really didn't start paying attention to Twitter until Black Power Media and the brothers was like, hey, you gotta up your Twitter game. We need to use all this social media, whatever. I was like, fuck Twitter. I logged on, didn't even realize I had anybody on the damn page. But so I don't, a lot of folks like myself, we're not on Twitter. So this goes back to the on the ground organizing. We definitely need to get folks in front of these establishments and let the people know, because all the folks that are shopping at the Walmarts and all these different places, you know, we have to have that propaganda out there. We have to let them know, look, this is the exploitation that's going on. We don't have to be in front of the store because of the fact they're going to call the pigs or whatever and all that. But at the entrance, you know, hit them off. Let folks know, look, this is what you're supporting. You're supporting the Fraternal Order of Police. You're supporting exploitation. You understand? You know, and for our convenience, we can no longer operate off convenience and say, well, you know, I'm just running in here to get this right here. But you know that it's an exploited situation. Would you knowingly and willingly go to a Klan store with hoods on and everything, saying, look, well, I'm just going to get a necktie from here? You understand what I'm saying? I'm not supporting the Klan. I'm just, you know, I just need this right here. We got to do better than that. And speaking of support, for those of you that checked us out last week, we had a couple family members of victims of the Buffalo shooting. I've been working with a couple of them, and we actually going to be providing security for one of the funerals on this Friday. So I'm sending some trained brothers and sisters to that particular area to secure one of the funerals, because some of the family members don't feel safe, and rightfully so, and they're afraid that something may pop off during this particular moment. So one of the things that was suggested by one of our good colleagues, Dr. Jared Ball, shout out to Jared, was that we do some type of fundraiser to raise some funds to get these brothers and sisters up there. So if any of you have it in your hearts, pockets, or whatever, to support what it is we're doing, we will have some folks at this particular funeral. I'm not going to say which one because I don't want to make it easy for folks who don't like us and who are looking to stop what it is we're doing, you know. But you know, if you do have it in your hearts and pockets, I'm going to list ways you can support these travel efforts. And you know, we want to make sure our people are good. We got to go beyond just talking about this is messed up, so on and so forth. And if I was there and all that, well, now you can be there. You know what I'm saying? And my position is, if you can't be there, at least you can support those who do work. If you're not willing to fight, or if you just can't fight for whatever reason, support the fighters. So that I wanted to push that real quick.
Run that link.
Here we go. Let me see.
Run that link.
And as we do that, let's bring the ear doctor on.
Run them tunes. Run them big tunes, big man.
Doctor.
Hey, why didn't they do watermelon and chicken flavor?
Nigga, what? What?
For Juneteenth. I mean, cheesecake and red velvet. I love red velvet. I can't front. But if you want to get to the hearts of black people, you got to do chicken and watermelon flavor. Come on.
Together?
And ice cream?
And ice cream?
Yeah, they're not going to go. I mean,
If they don't capitalize,
the liberal ones have learned not to go that far. Hopefully.
You know, it's crazy.
Some enterprising black person in the room was like, maybe it was proposed even, like, what about watermelon? And somebody's like, whoa.
My uncle told me that I was
maybe red velvet, but not.
My uncle told me I was the blackest non-black man he know, because I don't eat chicken, I don't like watermelon, don't play basketball. You know what I'm saying? None of that shit. I never liked watermelon, and of course, you know, I don't eat chicken, so I don't eat meat.
Listen, watermelon from the South back in the day, I don't know what the hell they doing to the watermelon these days, but
and they got seeds in them.
Thank you. I need the seeds in my watermelon. What the hell? What is this seedless monstrosity that man hath created? I don't want none of that. Run me my watermelon, all the black seeds, please, and thank you.
And we need to really do a serious story around that too, about all this seedless food and just how we're destroying ourselves. Because I mean, again, capitalism is a motherfucker. I'm talking about, man. I mean, look at how greedy these bastards are. They don't even want you to reproduce off of the money that you spend with them. I mean, that's some cold shit right there. Yeah. I mean, they're like, you know, you keep coming back to us.
And then just wanting to make it faster. Yesterday at the Black Man Lab, we talked about how to eat to live. So it was just about really understanding that all this food is drugs. It's really drugs. If it's the sugar, if it's the stuff they put in the meat, all this stuff is drugs, and we got to figure out ways to get around it, because all they're trying to do is addict us more and more and more and more. So, but with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and get to this artist spotlight right here on the Remix Morning Show, y'all.
Let's go.
Black Power Media, the Remix Morning Show.
And to this commercial break, real quick. Yeah. All right, you see it right there. Go ahead and cop that new merch we got on the website. With that said, I wanted to go ahead and get to a artist spotlight and give props to a brother that just had a transition. That's right, to the next plane. Who am I talking about? No other than Bernard Wright. That's right, Bernard Wright. Straight out of Jamaica, Queens, New York, born November 16th. 1963. That's right. He was a American funk and jazz keyboardist. He had 4 solo albums. He was also, his godmother was Roberta Flack. He started off with the jazz, dealing with bands like Lenny White, and then he even got with Tom Brown. That you had that "Funkin' for Jamaica" song. That the hard horns Tom Brown played on there. He got to work with him at the age of 16. Pretty much in 1981, he released his debut album called Nard. It had tracks that was used and sampled by Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, LL Cool J, bunch of people. Then after that, he dropped Funky Beat, which came out in 1983. And then Mr. Wright came out with another song, another album in 1985 on Manhattan Records. So a lot of people know the song "Who Do You Love, Girl? I'm in Love with You." Yeah, don't get me singing. But you can see the video. It came out on Video Music Box back in the day. And then in 1990, he released a gospel album, Fresh Hymns. And then he formed a trio in 2000 and came out and released another album called Back to Our Roots. He also appeared in recordings with musicians like Dougie Fresh, Cameo, Bobby Brown, Miles Davis, and he's been doing this thing for a minute. Like I said, he had 4 albums, and he just made his transition on May 19th at the age of 58, reportedly from a traffic accident in Dallas. So we want to give it up to that brother right there, Bernard Wright. Play something by him. Who do you love? Get that brother, put it in the air. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is right here. Remix Morning Show. Let's get back to the host. All right.
So it was a traffic accident?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Sorry to hear that.
It's good that I ain't gonna say it's good, but at least it's not, different. Just like we were saying, ailments, heart attacks, this, that, and the third, and stuff like that.
Sometimes you got to leave it alone.
Yeah,
thoughts come to your head. Like, don't just.
Sometimes just hold it back, right?
Yeah, just like don't do the Homer Simpson thing and just like let it flow. Without, like, like those are words coming out of my mouth right now. Let's not do. Yeah.
Yo, that was a little jam though. Who do you love?
Everybody, yeah. Who do you love, girl? I'm in love with you. Are you for sure? Yes, love that song. That was a good song.
Guys, Ear Doctor. Now it's not usual that you hit me to some shit that I was not previously hip to. I was not previously hip to Bernard Wright.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think many of us remember, unless you're like in the music industry. I don't think many of us probably remember his name as much as the music. Right? He's like one of those artists who you can't you're like, who made that song? And you just don't realize it until something like this happens.
And then with 4 albums, that was really the only song that
mainstream, like was
that came out and did something hard. So
interesting. Okay.
But sounds super talented, obviously from a musical family, background, session musician. I'm sure the industry, he's got his accolades and people knew who he was, kind of thing. But yeah.
And a lot of people sampled his work, like we were saying, different hip hop artists. So that's how we keep these artists alive. Producers continue to sample their work so the name could still ring out there. So that's it for the break for the day. And that is your artist spotlight. Catch y'all later. Peace.
Thank you, Air Doctor. Thank you, Air Doctor. So what's going on, gentlemen? I have a story.
You want me to share it? I think I saw you pull it up.
Go share it, Mr. Kamau. And yeah, I'm glad we got who we got in here today, because I think well, wait a second. Are we down a man? Every time
we're down one. We're down one.
Every time I look, it's the numbers change on the amount of Remix Morning Show hosts that are actually on the screen. So, so there's that. But I'm sure Kalonji is listening, and I would like his take too. And of course, Kamau, you being the attorney, I know you have some distinct insight on this. So this Supreme Court decision just came down. This was yesterday, y'all, right? The Supreme Court just said that evidence of innocence is not enough. Oh my God. When I started to read the details about what the implications of this decision mean, it really, really sent a chill and a sense of nausea throughout my GI tract. I started to feel sick. So this is from the Daily Beast. Last December, the Supreme Court gathered to hear oral arguments in Shin v. Ramirez, a case that could mean life or death for Barry Jones, who sits on death row in Arizona for the rape and murder of his girlfriend's 4-year-old daughter, Rachel. In 2018, a federal court overturned Jones's conviction, concluding that he had failed to receive effective counsel, a violation of his Sixth Amendment rights. Had that happened, a federal judge ruled, quote, there is reasonable probability that his jury would not have convicted him of any of the crimes with which he was charged and previously convicted. But what has happened now, guys? But after losing the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, Arizona Attorney General appealed the decision to the Supreme Court. And during those oral arguments, state prosecutors repeatedly argued that innocence isn't enough. Innocence isn't enough of a reason to throw out Jones's conviction. On Monday morning, by a 6-3 vote, the Supreme Court concurred. Barry Jones's innocence is not enough to keep him off death row. The state of Arizona can still kill Jones, even if there exists a preponderance of evidence that he committed no crime. So in effect, the Supreme Court has gutted your Sixth Amendment right, I believe, come out. And pardon me, I'm not a constitutional scholar here. Your Sixth Amendment right guarantees that if you have incompetent counsel, that you don't have to stand for that. I don't really know the reading of the Sixth Amendment, but as an attorney, Kamau, as somebody who is familiar with how these processes work, and as I'm sure you have seen many a person convicted on crimes where there was scant or little evidence or evidence to the contrary that they did not commit the crimes of which they are being accused. The significance of this Supreme Court decision is what?
Well, I mean, I think it's scary for folks even more. I mean, we all know that the idea that you're getting a fair trial in America is obviously not what usually happens, right? So for the most part, once you're arrested and charged, as opposed to there being a presumption of innocence, as anybody who's ever gone through the criminal justice system understands, you're almost presumed guilty and you have to work your way out of that. Most of the convictions happen because people don't lose at trial, but because they accept a plea deal, because it's far easier to do that and go on with your life. Because if you blow trial and all the time and energy and resources that it takes to even fight back, you can lose not only time off your life or literally, but your job and everything else. So on top of that, now it seems like the standard of proof beyond a reasonable doubt has been altered somewhat in terms of what this decision means, because if they're saying that even with a preponderance of the evidence that you are innocent does not matter, to me, that's saying a lot more than just it's about ineffective assistance of counsel, which is one particular issue. It also seems to be suggesting somewhat that it's not about beyond a reasonable doubt standard. That's almost, and I'm sure that this is not being codified, but if they're saying if there's a preponderance of evidence that you are innocent is not enough, then that's a change of standards in some ways. Beyond reasonable doubt means that if there is any reasonable belief that this person did not commit the crime, i.e. innocence, right? Or a lot of evidence suggesting that this person is innocent, that and if that's not enough anymore, then they're literally beginning the idea of changing the standard officially and or legally de jure on what it means to be able to not be found guilty. And even worse, this seems to be a death penalty case. So it means they're actually even saying that even with a preponderance of the evidence suggesting that you are not guilty, right, that you are innocent, the state can still put you to death, right? And so lastly, even on the ineffective assistance of counsel, so yes, it's a constitutional requirement that folks have a right to have counsel that is competent, right? So if you have just because somebody has a law degree and they're standing with you, if it's not an area of expertise in terms of whatever, if it's criminal law and it's your life, but yet you got somebody else who doesn't practice that area, or you have somebody who does practice the area but decided not to put up any reasonable defense, they're now suggesting that is not enough. So basically, any cardboard cutout will do to sit next to you while you're having a trial, which literally decides your fate. So this is again similar to the abortion ruling. This one seems to be like some of the previous decisions that were being made, somewhat of a setup for potentially new rulings around basic jurisprudence. So it's really, it's really something to watch for and to see, particularly how conservative states now use this in terms of stopping people, like things like the Innocence Projects and
Thank
other
you.
things.
That's exactly whose work I was thinking about. I'm like, this really guts the work of the Innocence Project and other organizations, because ineffective counsel come out is a reason that is common out here as to why people are wrongfully convicted of things, because they had shit lawyers. And then now this is something that you can't even argue. You can't even argue that you had ineffective or incompetent counsel. If I'm reading this right, I mean, basically the court, hold on, let me read further in this Daily Beast article. It says, on Monday, the court gutted the precedent established by an earlier court case of Martinez. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that case or not, but in its decision written by Justice Clarence Thomas, that's Kamal's boy. He got a Clarence Thomas t-shirt in his closet. No, I'm fucking with you. I'm just saying, it's just funny. Like, anyway, when it's one of the known all-stars of fuckery, I always like to highlight that. And Clarence Thomas is a fuckery all-star, no doubt. In his decision, written by Judge Clarence Thomas, the court ruled that a federal court, quote, may not conduct an evidentiary hearing or otherwise consider evidence beyond the state court record based on the ineffective assistance of the state's positions, of the state post-conviction counsel. In short, a convicted defendant like Mr. Jones can be held responsible and kept in prison if his state-appointed lawyer provided ineffective counsel for his appeal.
Which is ridiculous, right? So it's so if a lawyer messes up and doesn't do their job, basically the convicted defendant has to continue to suffer. So it's not. So I mean, who's the person that's having the harm done to them? It's not the lawyer who like maybe should be disbarred or be fined or whatever. That lawyer can continue practicing, but the person the case that they messed up, which again is a life and death case, and they're also suggesting that based on what you read, that if it can't go beyond the already established trial record in a state case, then that seems to be suggesting that you can't bring in newly discovered evidence around the ineffective assistance of counsel. So these things are really paving the way to keep these convictions held up in federal court, and obviously to have state courts apply this, which like as you were saying or alluding to, for organizations like the Innocence Project, this really takes away one avenue to get people out of prison based on bad convictions, right? Based on convictions that prior should have been overturned. And lastly, I say already in the system, it takes upwards of 10, 15, 20 years, more than that sometimes, to get a conviction overturned, which we know is erroneous or has evidence to suggest that either the police planted evidence or the police just got the wrong person. And the state prosecutor was just eager to prosecute and get the case closed. So there's a lot of things that happen to prevent people from showing that once this conviction was had, that it was done in error. And so this only makes it that much worse.
What if you got a cracker judge, Kamau? What if there's evidence that your judge doesn't allow in at trial that could exonerate you, and then you try to go present this evidence at appeal, and they're like, nope, nope. If
like
it wasn't in your first
record,
trial.
Yeah. It's not in the record, so therefore it does. Your attorney didn't argue to get it in, all of those things. It is, yeah. I mean, this very conservative court, and this is one of these things, like, in the larger context of organizing, like, it's clearly one of these back and forths that radical organizers have around how much you need to battle the current forces, because even if they're not in terms of like the differences between the Republicans and the Democrats, or right wing and left wing, or liberals and right wing, I should say, this is the society we live in. So even if we know we're not fighting for liberation, these kind of cases, these kind of outcomes tell us that there is some difference in terms of what right-wing folks are willing and able to do. And that really does include having control of a woman's body, keeping the prison industrial complex going to the degrees that their liberal companions won't do. So it's food for thought in that respect.
Well, what I take away from it is, and this was always the case, that the state could always charge you with something, right? They could charge you with anything. They can trump up evidence. They can do pretty much whatever they want to you once you are within their clutches. But now it's impossible to get out of their clutches, right? Especially if you are innocent, right? Especially if you are innocent, especially if you are able to prove it. And this further divides as a class issue, because you have to be able to afford effective counsel. And I don't mean to malign the public defender system at all. And I know that there are many reasons: underfunding, understaffed, overworked, why public defenders can be not as good, right? But fuck, if you are poor, good luck, little buddy. You know what I'm saying? If you're a poor and the fucking police and the state prosecutors decide to pin some shit on you, now what?
Yeah.
Now what?
And again, like when we talk about the trial system, most cases are resolved through plea deals, right? So even in that respect, around, again, public defenders can be good attorneys, but the system is set up to have like upwards of 80 to 90% of these cases resolved through plea deals. So part of it is a bargaining system. Part of it is, and once you bargain and you get a conviction on something, right, doesn't that limit your rights on where you live, right? Where you're allowed to live, what jobs you're allowed, what loans you're allowed to take out. It has impact all the, for your entire life. And so this system, it just continues to shut down avenues for saying that at some point you can become quote unquote whole again, whether you did it or not, right? Obviously, it's even worse if considering whatever the case may be, but it's even worse if someone did not do something and gets convicted for whatever that is. But if you get convicted of having drugs on you, right? Something that is relatively speaking, some of us argue shouldn't even be the cause of a conviction. But if you had a conviction like that, boom, like, you know, that's it for like a solid 10, 15, 20 years.
It's getting worse. It's getting worse, everybody, and especially for everyone that is watching us from outside of the U.S. Happy birthday to Ursula Baptiste, by the way. Happy birthday, Ursula. Yeah, the shit is real here. It's real, and I know it's real other places. I know it's realer in different ways in other places, but y'all, the backslide is happening right now. Any sort of rights or progress that we believed, you know, take that whatever you will, that statement, but any rights or progress that we believe that we had accomplished or achieved and that were won, these motherfuckers are trying to walk that shit back. Like, them wins was only temporary, Negro. So sorry. So sorry. Jail is where you shall stay.
Yeah.
So
and yeah. It's and this is just going to be one. I mean, it's a 6-3 court. So this is going to be the norm in terms of these kind of decisions on criminal justice matters, on supporting big corporations. So this is going to be the setup for a number of years, and it's only going to be, you know, that's why again, even though arguing around what we should do in terms of mainstream electoral politics, it's only going to take organizing of different veins and values to not only just pull this shit back, but to create alternatives and other systems so that these folks don't have power. We don't build alternative and other models. These folks will continue to have power over us in this way. And if we only limit our fight back to getting Dems in, then what we're really talking about is whatever small rights we have, that's the only thing that they can fight for and are willing to fight for, right? So this is just a harbinger of things to come, as we all know. This is a 6-3 court. This is going to be solidly right wing for a long time, and people don't remember. I mean, again, these are small changes, but there was a time when people's favorite liberal justice, Ruth Ginsburg, was asked to come off the bench so that Obama could appoint somebody. Because she'd had cancer, 16 times, and she was getting old or whatever. But she was like, hell no, I'm good, I'm healthy, I'm gonna work this out or whatever. And she, when she passed, that gave the right wingers one of their first and or second opportunities to continue to appoint people to make the court what it is.
Yeah. There's that, which is very valid. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, white woman, the whole situation. Ain't no Negro gonna tell her what to do. What? You don't know how this works, Docky. I am still over you in the racial hierarchy. Make no mistake. But and then that's exactly what she told the Obama administration. But also the fact that they had an opportunity. Merrick Garland was a Supreme Court appointee denied, and this is not a statement of endorsement of Merrick Garland at all. It's just that the way that Mitch McConnell and the Senate Republicans made sure, punked the Democrats basically, like y'all are not getting this seat. That's it. That's the line in the sand. And Democrats was like, oh, guys, come on, guys. Don't you guys want to play fair? Come on, guys. Come on, guys. That's what the Democrats, that's all they do to Republicans. Come on, guys. You guys aren't playing fair, man. You guys aren't playing fair. Well, what's going to happen when you guys are not in power? And it's like the Republicans don't play the game that way, baby. They take whatever power they have in the moment and they run it down your throat. They run it down your throat. They don't pause. They don't look. They don't think about the future.
In fact, the very thing that if this was the reverse and it was a 6-3, let's say moderate to liberal court, the Republicans would be stacking the court right now. Like the idea of adding it wouldn't even take a hot second for them to come up with the idea or carry through with the idea. There wouldn't be any waiting or any sort of wonky, what about this, what about that? They'd be like, stack that court right now. That's how we get our way, because they fight for power, right? That's what they fight for. But speaking of power, Kalanja, you came back just in time for a break, B.
Hey man, you know what I'm saying? What would an employee do? You know how black folks do? They clock in around break time. We're gonna take it to the end, doctor, and then I'm gonna be back with y'all. I had to take a break before the break. You know what I'm saying?
Word. Oh yeah, I'm in the stands right now. I wanted to talk about somebody that's an entertainer that's done some stuff, but I want to talk about this entertainer to lead to a whole nother topic that's dealing with entertainment. So let's get to it right now on the Remix Morning Show.
We have cracked 250. We need our mix. But yeah, Doctor. Remix Morning Show.
All right. What's good, everybody? You see me in the stands right now, chilling out. Well, I was watching this show called Young Rock, which is The Rock. You know what I'm saying? Pro wrestler, and talks about his whole family and how he came from wrestling and everything. And I was watching, and I was looking at these different entertainers, which you have entertainers that come from, boxing. You got all types of sports. You got MCs, you got musicians, all types of entertainers that don't have a retirement plan. I mean, after they finish entertaining people, who's going to take care of them? Especially like if you see the movie The Wrestler. The Wrestler was a brother that wrestled, not a brother, but a guy that wrestled. And after he finished wrestling, he was just falling apart. So who did I want to talk about today? You might not know him, but let me put you on to him. He goes by the name of S.D. Jones. That's right. He was an Antiguan professional wrestler. And he was back during the time from 1974 to 1990. He was in the World Federation of WWF, and he wrestled with Jim Crockett Promotions, and he was also in the National Wrestling Alliance, which was the NWA. So it was the WWF and the NWA back in the day, who was like the two big wrestling promoters. And he won the NWA America's Tag Team Champion 3 times. So he was getting it in. Pretty much, he had his buddy that was a wrestler who he also won the tag team championship, was called Pork Chop Cash and Tom Jones. And then he also went over to Universal Stars of America, and he was a tag team champion with Tony Atlas. Now, who also was a tag team champion with Tony Atlas was Rock. That was Rock's father, Rocky Johnson. So with all that said, he put in all these years of wrestling, made Vince McMahon and all these people a whole bunch of money. But then what happens is he retires from wrestling. He has to take a job at the New York Daily News. He died in 2018 from a stroke. He suffered 2 days early after, working with the New York Daily News. And he has a stroke, brain bleeds out. It's ugly. But my thing is, they put in all this work. Entertainers put in all this work. And then after they're finished giving you their all, later down the line, they start falling apart. And nobody's there to take care of them. You're talking about $1 billion industry like WWF that doesn't take care of their people after they retire, and they all broken down. We could talk about football, boxing, musicians, all that. So I was just wanted to throw out there, man, when are these people ever going to be taken care of? We give our all as entertainers, but we don't have dental plans. Some of us don't have dental plans, benefits, or nothing. So I just wanted to throw that out and be like, yo, when is this going to be like some type of union to take care of our entertainers? Just wanted to throw that out and talk about S.D. Jones. Now let's get back to the Remix Morning Show. All right.
And he's going again.
Huh?
And your boy is going again.
Hey, the older you get, you got to take a lot of bathroom breaks.
True. I remember Special Delivery Jones.
Special Delivery. Yeah.
And he would do a little wind up.
Yeah.
No, that was my man back in
the day. Yo, man. I heard you talking about the bathroom break, sucker. Shout out to SD Jones and Tony Atlas. You know what I'm saying? For the work
Tony Atlas too,
out there. You know what I mean? They definitely put in some work. I'm sad to hear the SD Jones, you know what I'm saying, left. He wasn't the greatest wrestler, but he's a good tag team partner.
Well, when they say, when you said like he won the championship, I mean, what do we mean by that when we say they won?
I mean, they got written into the script, and
Oh,
it was like,
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
y'all gonna win.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was dope because, like I said, I watched Young Rock, which talks about his whole family from Samoa and how his parents put together wrestling matches back in Hawaii, and how they worked with everybody, talking about Macho Man, talking about Iron Sheik, all the different wrestlers, and it just showed how all these people was working together. It's a dope show, and I was like, all right, so let me talk about SD Jones.
Young Rock is a very cute sitcom.
Yeah.
Almost in spite of myself, do I find myself enjoying it, and I have to go back and watch it on demand because I keep forgetting what day it comes on. But the couple times that I have watched it, I really liked it. Like it's adorable, and especially if you were a kid of the '80s, and for Young Rock to have Andre the Giant come to his school,
right,
on like show and tell day, and it's like, yo, if you were a child of the '80s, you could just imagine how mind-blowing that must have been.
And his uncles was the Samoans. I mean,
Wild Samoans.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, is it a cartoon or live action show?
It's a live show.
Oh, okay.
Well,
and there are
listen.
actors who are playing Andre the Giant and all that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I don't know two actors that I dislike most besides The Rock and Vin Diesel. So I probably won't
not
watch
in it.
it.
He's not in it.
No, he's in it. Rock's in it.
Well, let me rephrase. He's not acting in it, right?
Yeah,
like he's sort of narrating.
Yeah.
Like, so he's narrating his story, but he's not, I guess.
The young guy is the young kid playing The Rock.
Yeah,
okay.
well, you see him as a young kid, and then and it kind of intermingles between his life period. So you see him at Miami. Is that where he went to college?
Yeah, he went to Miami.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you see him a little bit at the U. You see him as a kid. You know what I mean? So it's really cute. I have to, like I said, in spite of myself, I found myself enjoying it.
And I wanted to bring this up back to the point of what are these entertainers in these different fields? How are they going to unionize? Who's going to take care of them after they put in all this work? I mean, that was just my question. It's like, wow, because like I know WWF is like billions in the billions column. Vince McMahon.
The question is,
take care of.
The question is, what are they doing for the people? I think that if they take care of the people will take care of them. It has to be more than just entertaining for entertainment's sake. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in Connecticut, of course, so the WWF headquarters was in Stamford, Connecticut. And we would always have wrestling come to Central High School. Shout out to Central. You know what I mean? I think like every quarter or whatever, you know, they would have different wrestlers come through. Superfly Snooker. I know I would see, what's the dude name? Sergeant Slaughter all the time because he lived outside of our city in Fairfield. So we'd see him with his little camouflage limo and all that type stuff. But yeah, that was the joint, man. We used to love wrestling. We used to wrestle before school as well. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that we didn't realize for a long time was that they were doing fake moves and we were doing real moves. One time I pile drive at my brother.
And it broke his neck.
I ain't break his neck, but I did it on the bed. And I thought, you know, on the mattress. And you know, it wasn't a good thing. So I ain't want to get murked when the parents came home. So I'm trying to rub his neck, do all kinds of stuff. You gotta fix this, boy. We used to be rushing, sickling each other, suplexing each other.
Hole, and then put the camel clutch on somebody. You know, that really,
yeah. Drop kicking cats. You know what I mean? So
listen,
like I said, for a while we didn't know that, you know, they was making the funk. We was in the projects getting it on. You know, so
what I was going to say is that, you know, most of these cats, because there's such individual aspirations that they don't think about their long-term future in terms of and how they're connected to other wrestlers in their same profession. And so therefore, if the ringmaster or the ringleader or Vince McMahon is getting rich and only a few other wrestlers are getting rich, then what's going on? And I think my assumption is that over the years, I mean, Bret Hart and some of the other wrestlers who
he died
seem to have tragic ends. Like there's been a little bit of an awakening, but I just don't know how far that extends. My thinking is on the top echelon that hopefully those cats by now have unionized. But I know there's a lot of circuit wrestling outfits that are going to, and I'm sure, you know, these folks have these dreams. And so they're willing to put up with everything and anything. The same thing happened, obviously, you know, you talk the music industry, right? Very similar without the physical violence. Well, there's other kinds of physical violence in the music scene, but, you know, cats are willing to do almost everything and anything because that's what they've been trained to think to achieve this goal. And they don't think about, like, you know, their future, their masters, even if they don't make it big. What little resources they should be getting, even as they're putting forth this art and this and trying to make a living. So a lot of, you know, I think it's the individual pursuit model here that we just forget about. There's so many other folks who are trying to do these same things, and there's folks with money who are trying to take advantage of it. So
yeah, because even Noriega was talking about Nori from Drink Champs. He's talking about trying to unionize with hip hop, all these different artists in hip hop that's put in all this work, and now they falling apart. So I don't know. It seems like it's a big struggle to unionize, like somebody's against it happening.
Yeah.
Hey,
Right,
Toby.
the money, the niggas with the money, the elites, the power bosses. Jay-Z is probably way against an artist union, not just him. But that's the whole point. That's the name of the game of exploitation of Black people's bodies and talents to serve the masses, right? And once those bodies are used up and destroyed, the whole individual is disregarded. But that kind of goes back to what you're talking about, Ear Doctor, at least when it comes to entertainment. I mean, people got to be a little less happy to get on and make sure that your paperwork is right. And I know that's easy to wag your finger, make sure your paperwork is right.
Especially when you broke. Especially when you broke.
Hey, man.
Like these artists that's coming on that don't read no contracts, they don't do nothing. They like, how much I'm getting in advance?
I know that's the problem with exploiting poor, talented folks, right? You can maximize that talent for minimal dollars because they're hungry.
Yeah. Hey, you know what we have to do? We have to do the work that that CMB is doing, the work that FTP is doing, in moving our movement people towards some type of financial advancement. They need insurance. They need some type of union from some of these Negroes that are exploiting them, because so many folks are utilizing their work. I got an invite to check out something last night, which I hate to talk about, with Kamal's homeboy. What's the boy name? Sean King. He had this big ass forum last night with all types of different, you know, activists and
Buffalo, right?
Quote unquote celebrities. In regards to Buffalo, I think it was more of a virtual thing. But my point is, I'm so sick of the exploitation when it comes to movement work. You know what I'm saying? There's so many people that are suffering, and I can, you know, I'm all for the unionizing these artists and so on and so forth, but I guess I'm biased. I'm more like, you know, my heroes are the freedom fighters, so I'm trying to figure out how to take care of them, because they're the ones that's fighting for us. And then we talk about some of these other suckers.
Yeah, I guess with me being an entertainer, it falls in what I do. So I'm like, yo, we need to figure out how to take care of us in the long run.
Yeah, and also you being on Black Power Media is what we do when we talk about this movement work. So that's all I'm saying. I respect, you know what I'm saying, the entertainers, but you know, like the last poet say, all we want to do is party and bullshit and party. And even them, they ended up getting exploited, because in interviewing them, they talked about how they didn't know shit about Biggie and them sampling it, and how they was at an event, and next thing you know, folks come downstairs and say that our song is playing upstairs, but it's not them rapping on it. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, it's a catch-22. And again, I'm anti-exploitation as a whole, but I'm a little biased when it comes to, you know, folks who fight for us and folks who make us dance.
Yeah, I would just say, like, you know, I mean, whether we call them entertainers or in some cases artists or whatever, like you said, like exploitation. So folks in their field, if they can figure it out how to get it together, and maybe that leads to them being politicized, like, I'm all for it. May not be the thing that I'm working on first and foremost, right. But we've definitely had connections. Or I know some folks who have connections with some artists, and they've talking about developing cooperatives for different artists, and hopefully that helps lead to them being politicized more and that kind of thing. But until these artists / entertainers get to think of themselves in a collective way in which they are understand that how that exploitation happens, and they do more than fight for their individual interests, then this is exactly what's going to happen, because when the opportunities come to say, let's do it a little different, they don't want to do a little. In fact, a lot of times they just want to be their own king of the hill, right? So it's just like, once I get my money, I want me a label, and I want to be able to exploit the next artist. You know what I mean? So
Kanye, that's Ye all day. That's you have described Kanye West. Like, Kanye was so happy to get on with Rock Nation, and he could not wait to have his own label imprint, so he could in turn start behaving like Jay-Z and start exploiting his artists as well.
And I think of the Nina Simones and the Paul Robesons and all of those folks who actually provided a soundtrack for our people's liberation movement. You know, and those are the ones that I feel for first, because many of them suffered, many of them were ostracized, many of them were whiteballed and just taken to the ringer. So, like you said, the ones who, you know, look, it's 2022. If you still signing contracts and you don't have anyone to read it, then I mean, we got a problem. And I mean, it's all types of ways to kind of like try to figure some things out nowadays. And I'm not trying to diss the artists, because there's a lot of young artists and a lot of artists who, you know, come in the game hungry, and they're willing to literally sell their souls for a piece of the pie. You know what I'm saying? If you try to feed your family is one thing, but when you you know, you just trying to get the next Maybach and all this type shit, yo, you go broke on that, man, fuck you.
You kind of get what you get. You get what you get at that point. I mean, there's so much. There's just literally generations of precedents, right? We could talk about how Little Richard and all of the greats, pioneers, especially of rock and roll, right? And it makes me nauseous, truly, to see artists like Bruce Springsteen and David Bowie and who else was it? Fucking Bob Dylan. Like, these motherfuckers' catalogs is selling for hundreds of millions of dollars. Where is Nina Simone's estate's catalog? Where is James Brown's People's State catalog? I mean, like, we gave them everything. You know what I'm saying? They took it all from us and continue to reap all the material benefits, while our pioneers and our stars still languish not only in obscurity, but poverty. It's not like they are just middle class. No, a lot of times these people end up destitute. It is horrendous.
And I respect Bob Dylan and folks like Joni Mitchell, because they were brave enough to make songs about George Jackson when a lot of these Negroes weren't saying shit, and they didn't have to be forced to. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about folks like James Brown, and shout out to James Brown, yes, he was an excellent entertainer, but it was pressure from folks like H. Rap Brown and the Black Panther Party that made him talk about I'm black and I'm proud. Some folks were organic with this shit. I respect the cultural worker. I respect those who are about that life. And even if you're not, because I'm a realist, I'm not expecting everyone to do what I do. But if you got like 12 songs talking about murder, kill, death, and let's sell, you know, sex or whatever the case is, at least have one song that can deal with something. I mean, anything. I mean, some type of social issue. Can we talk about the environment? Can we say something about police brutality? Can we say something about, I mean, you don't even have to go far. Can you talk about hunger in the community? You know what I'm saying? You don't even have to be all that deep. But at some point, in order for you to get my vote, you know, I feel like, you know, it has to be more than us just dancing for the sake of dancing.
I respect all the artists who have something good to say and come down on the radical side. But, you know, there's still something about the way the system works where you could be an artist like a Dylan and do music that's expressive outside the box, that has a radical niche to it, but still be a part of the ecosystem that's about exploitation and not really do much to change it, to be honest. Like, so Dylan, I do respect his art, but and Springsteen to an extent. I think I respect a lot of the stuff that he does that people don't even know about. But these folks are literally, if not billionaires, hundreds of millions of dollars because they are white folks in a system that allows them to do what they can dabble and always go home. It's just that thing that we always talk about, right? I mean, white folks can always dabble, be radicalized, or do something for a number of years. But a lot of them, not exclusively by any stretch of the imagination, but a lot of those folks get to decide, you know what, it's time to clean up. and get me a job doing ABC or whatever. And there's a few black folks that can do that too, but those are the exceptions to the rule. The rule is the system is always open to white folks dabbling and coming back home, cleaning themselves up, talking about their experiences, and making hundreds of $1 million. For black folks, if you are lucky to get back into good graces of mainstream entertainment, your life is basically on the road, right? You're like in order for you to keep up any lifestyle, you're traveling 300 days a week to do these like concerts for 10, 15,000 people. And for you, that's how you now got to make your living. And again, people choose their roads, but yeah.
You know who you're describing there, Kamal? You are describing the Isley brothers, whom at their advanced ages, I think Ron Isley's got to be 80. They are still on the road. They are still doing shows right now. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, you know, Dylan as an artist is fine, but Dylan has got paid for his catalog. You cannot tell me that Bob Dylan's catalog is worth more than the Isley brothers' contribution to music. I mean, I'm not saying that you said that, Kalonji. I'm saying in the grand scheme of things, like that Bob Dylan's catalog has been rewarded with all this money. Where's Ron Isley and them's money? Where is it?
The Isley brothers are eating. Don't get it twisted. I mean, they've been rocking.
No, but I think she's talking about the level of money, the level
they're
of
still doing
music
shows.
that they put out.
He was just at the Bethesda Blues and Jazz Club, which is a small venue, but they was charging people like ridiculous amounts of money for these items.
And that's where I go back to saying, like, the entertainers, the freedom fighters, if you work for corporations, then they got a retirement plan for you. Whenever you try to do your own thing as an artist, freedom fighter, something for the people, you don't get taken care of in the long run. And that's the point I was pretty much trying to make.
That for freedom fighters, obviously the system ain't going to take care of it.
Oh no, they're not.
That's on us to try to figure that part out, and we do a terrible job of it. But still, that's on us to try to figure out what are the ways in which our folks, our veterans or whatever, get to have places to live, food to eat, resources in their pocket, ability to tell their stories, to train other folks who are coming up behind them. Again, except for that select few that, for the most part, who've sort of made their way into academia, or who have somehow made their way into some speechy engagement thing. For the most part, those other folks get left behind. So,
hey, for small fact, little known fact, FTP first started off because of the Isley Brothers song "Fight the Power," which came out in the late 50s. You know what I'm saying? So most people think that when we say FTP is just fuck the police and they think NWA, but it was actually because of the Isley Brothers joint. You know what I'm saying? I used to kill that song. And I thought that that was one of, it was when you talk about, again, that is an example of being able to participate in our people's liberation movement, whether it's as a cultural worker, providing a soundtrack for revolution, inspiring, whatever. You know what I mean? So to your point here, Doctor, indeed, I unite with what you're saying. I'm also saying, like, make sure that the contribution that you bring in is, as Kamal says, not just to build up your mountaintop and to build your shit and then expect someone to back you when you had nothing to say when the sun was at its highest peak. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. But I mean, down with exploitation, fuck capitalism. And for folks that's on the road singing, I don't know. For me, when I think of art and artists, I think it is it foremost in my mind, it's about expression, right? So you should want to be able to express and share your art. The fact that you can make money off of something that you love doing is a perk. It's not a, I don't know if people, they think that I'm going to do this so I can make a lot of money, or are they doing it out of love? You know what I'm saying? And for me, I respect folks who are serious about their craft and serious about their passion first. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you do, if it's not, as long as it's not destroying other people. But if you're serious about what it is you do, I have respect for it, even if I don't necessarily agree with what it is you do. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that you're putting your time and energies into building something that can help to advance us, to me, is a move. Someone in the chat, Toby, you said your mother taught at Central High School for 30 years. Put your mom's name in the chat. And I'd like to know who your mother was, just in case. You know what I'm saying? I want to shout her out.
You want to know how many times you got put out of class, Kalonji?
No, well, actually, John Mayer, and I was talking. It's funny. John Mayer's mother was actually my English teacher, and I did get put out of her class a whole lot. And his father was our principal. He was like 182 years old.
Damn.
When we was at school. But I used to get kicked out of it. It's crazy because I ain't gonna front, man. I used to kind of buck at her and whatnot, and she'd be all nervous and scared and shit, and out my ass goes. So needless to say, that wasn't a good year for my English on the report card.
Hey, real quick, we have cracked 250 at some point. We did earlier. I saw we had even maxed out. The highest I saw was 251. So, I mean,
let me go get ready.
That little joint you did on Thursday was cute. It was cute, Ear Doctor, but the people say that we have earned us a real mix today. So.
I agree.
Well, let me go get ready.
Peace. Yeah, go stretch. Go
make that happen.
Go get hydrated.
Or do all that. What you got to do with the wrists,
whatever you're going to do.
These days, all you gotta do is that. But you know what I'm saying?
That's all you gotta do.
Press that button these days.
Yeah, Toby, I was out of school by the time your mom came in, I believe. I'm sorry to say that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, if she retired in 2018, yeah, I was out. I was out of I think she came right after I graduated. So
she said, "Woo, it's safe now." Kalonji left.
All the teachers celebrated. It's like, yes.
Can I ask y'all a question? I mean, it's kind of personal. Y'all don't have to answer if you don't feel that you want to answer. I'm just curious. For those featured on screen right now, how many times were you suspended from school, high school?
Is that a serious question? Why you want to start with me, man? I'm feeling like
because you probably do what you got, like
because you laughed, so that was a tell. that meant a lot.
Yeah. How many times I didn't get suspended from high school a lot. I did get. I used to skip a lot. My first year,
you suspended yourself from school. Got it.
Okay. Yeah. You know what was crazy, and I ended up going to 4 different high schools. But the first school was a magnet school. It was quote unquote gifted high school. But the thing that was crazy, I was skipping so much that one day I was at home and we were all in the living room chilling and everything. And our truant officer, he was Puerto Rican with a heavy accent, right? So he came knocking on the door. So I looked out the peek hole and I recognized him, like, oh shit. So everybody's in the living room and the door is like right there. So my pops was like, what's wrong with you, boy? I asked, who is it? I was like, who is it? He's like, this is Officer Jose from, I would do his accent, but he said, this is Officer Jose from Central High School, whatever. So I was like, yo, I'm sorry, you had the wrong house. So he started knocking again. So he was like, no, I'm here for such and such, this officer. I said, there's no Jose to live here. So then, well, my pops went to the door, and needless to say, I ain't skipped school no more. I ain't gonna tell you the rest. My skipping days was over. But I was like, damn. So then they had to go to school the next day, and they found out about all these days that I did end up skipping because I was intercepting the mail. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I had to go get the mail.
Yes.
Nobody's here.
That's
right.
So right. Or that's what I'm saying. The low tech ways of concealing information from your parents in the 80s. All you had to do, if you got home first and somebody, an administrator had left a message on their answering machine, delete. Nobody will ever hear it. Kamal, you strike me as the cool nerd. I can't see you actually getting in no trouble in high school.
I was lazy at schoolwork. So the 1 year, I think only one time, I've never got suspended. Let me just put that out. Yeah. My sister, on the other hand.
I knew that.
My sister, on the other hand, got suspended a whole bunch. She was always fighting. Then she dropped out and then she went back at the GED. But what's my worst thing I did in high school around that? Oh, I changed my report card. Because one time I got bad grades. And I was like, this is not going to be good. So I had like little eraser. I went from a 65 to 85. I flipped that joint to my mom's real quick. She signed off. Then I had to go back and change the grades again to back to where they were. I don't think I ever got busted for it either. But yeah, for the most part, it was like, I didn't have no place else to go. So like, it was no problem going to school. It was like, all right, just go chill with your people in school. And so when those cats would cut every now and then, but for the most part, yeah, I was in school. I was a nerdy ghetto kid. Yeah.
Top-notch forgery. I respect it. I respect it.
I had changed my grades one time with the whiteout and the typewriter action, but my dumb ass got caught because I put too much whiteout on it, and it wasn't
rookie move.
And the copy machine, everything didn't agree with my technology. So then they changed it to computerized joints, and
I was done. And
it was a wrap.
Your suspensions.
I got suspended from high school every single year, but it wasn't for fighting or thuggery or anything like that. My freshman year of high school, I read the autobiography of Malcolm X, like first semester, and that really set the tone for my entire high school career. So I was letting these white teachers know all about themselves when the mood would strike me, and that is a suspendable offense. You get suspended for cussing out teachers. Isn't that something? So I got suspended every year for cussing out teachers.
I got a lot of in-school suspension, but even with that, I stopped because my in-school suspension teacher, he was actually a Yoruba priest from the hood.
Interesting.
But he didn't fuck around. And it's funny because I was like, man, I mean, he didn't let us do shit in ISS. I'm talking about, man, you and that motherfucker all day just working and say you don't have no work. He got some shit for your black ass. Lord. But it's crazy. It's crazy because years later, I ended up moving in the building he lived in, and he was my neighbor, and we became solid. I mean, he's my dude, brother John Me. He's transitioned since then, but he was like, when you talking about African, man, listen, that dude was like the epitome of culture, and that's one of the things I loved about this one particular high school was there were a couple different Yoruba priests. There were some folks from the nation, and so on and so forth. So regardless, even if you weren't into our culture, you were going to eventually end up with someone that was going to hit you with our culture. But this brother, he was no joke, man. It's like, and I would try to crack a joke because I can get over on all my teachers with that. He'd be like, all right, when you finish thinking you Richard Pryor, I got some more assignments for you. Yeah, so that shit was for short lived. So I didn't want to go to ISS.
In junior high, we had, not the same thing, but you just remind me about like they still did corporal punishment a little bit when I was in junior high in Brooklyn.
In New York public school system?
Yeah, whether or not it was sanctioned or not is another discussion.
I got the paddle in the third grade. Yeah,
we had an ex-cop, old white dude. I forgot his real name. We used to call him Rubberneck because he got shot in the neck. But he would do this thing, so that of course that was his nickname and shit, So, but he was I don't know, a dean or assistant principal, whatever he was. But you get called into the office and he had this stick. And he would definitely do the whole handout, stick on hand, pop, that kind of thing. And we had a French teacher who also did that shit too. He'd walk around with a little, little Hitler stick and be like, board up, pop, kind of if you acted up. But my junior high, my high school was wild. But if I remember, my junior high, high school was wild in the regular way. Cats would bring some guns, some knives, a little shooting, little egg fights, whatever. But it wasn't like a lot of beating up of teachers. In junior high, we had cats who would actually beat up teachers and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Our teachers would see. That's the thing. Our teachers would fuck you up. So it wasn't. So we had, and then a couple of them had, kids who were children who were notorious in the hood. So you can't disrespect certain people or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or you're gonna come back and get lumped up. But one of my worst teachers, I had this typing teacher who drank a lot of alcohol, because whenever she came over me, she smelled like Jacobazzi or some Rio Niti on ice, and she would always slap my hand and shit because I'd be holding my fingers wrong trying to type. And I ain't gonna front. I took typing for 4 years, and to this day it's like So I wish I'd have paid attention in typing class. You know what I mean? But shout out to my old typing teacher. She said, "You ain't gonna be shit." I said, "Neither are you." Yeah, she told me that. So
Jeez Louise.
Teachers can be rough.
My drunk ass passed me though, so it was cool.
We used to have we had the immigrant teachers, like it's like the New York thing, and obviously there's nothing wrong with teachers who are immigrants, but teachers who don't speak English, when you got a class full of English kids speaking English, that's always a recipe for disaster.
Disaster.
This teacher, I think it was a Haitian brother. I mean, now it's sad, but anytime he turned his head to do right on the chalkboard, he would get lit the fuck up.
Oh.
Man, he stood there and cried.
That's American children. Yeah. American children are horrible. Like as an American child, dog, we had an Asian like geometry teacher in summer school. Yo, I mean, I don't like seeing teachers cry, dog. I really don't. It makes you feel like the first time you feel like shit as a kid. You're like, God damn. So we done hurt this adult's feelings. Oh my goodness.
When I was 12, it was funny.
But you know what's funny about that?
Hold on, wait. Ear Doctor is late. It's late.
Come on up here, Doctor.
He coming with it.
It's 9:58. See, that's what I'm saying. But
hey, y'all used to talking, so I ain't gonna stop.
No, we need that mix, bro. It's Tuesday.
You still gotta do that mix for 5 minutes.
Put in the mix.
You got.
And shout out to those who have supported what we're doing. We did get a couple get some change in the joint. So you know what I'm saying? Definitely shout out to you all. And for those who missed it, definitely support that travel fund, what we're doing. Yeah, like that. Thank you, Ear Doctor, for doing all that you do.
Hey, it's nothing. We do it for the people, and that's why we here. That's why we come every morning for y'all.
No doubt. I love that moonlight in the back. You notice he started out with sunlight, and we was rocking all that time, so he took it to the moon.
Hey, we out of this world. All right, so let's get to it real quick. We're gonna do a quick mix. We got like a minute left, so
yes.
You sucker.
Y'all don't watch the clock. I do.
Remix. Slow. Yeah, Doctor.
Got one of those mix, huh? You gonna do it like this? You see me coming in the place, so you see me. You see me coming in the place, and yes, you see me. Down with the crew called BPM. If you want to tell us, you must see me. Come on now. Coming in the place with the Slipper CC. Down with the crew called BPM. If you want to challenge them, then you must see me. Once again, thank y'all for tuning in right here on Black Power Media. Make sure y'all support that fund right there on the screen. Make sure y'all come back in the morning at 8 a.m. and we're going to rock out once again. Peace to y'all out there. Much love, Black Power Media.